Hey, if you're looking for a place to stay in Southern Indiana, whether it's for a staycation or you're coming out of town, Stay on Bank in downtown New Albany is a new Airbnb. And we have today with us the owner of Stay on Bank, Andrew Carter. Andrew, thanks for joining us today.
Sure. Yeah, good to be here.
Hey, my wife and I recently had our 23rd wedding anniversary. We've got young kids at home, so we weren't going long distance, but
Yep.
had an opportunity to stay at your place, Stay on Bank, and it was an incredible stay. And I wanted to have you on to hear the story about it. So it is an Airbnb. I think you call it a historical boarding house. But before we get there, the property has some history to it, doesn't it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it does. So it's one of the early properties in downtown New Albany. So it was built in the late 1800s. Off the top of my head, I don't have the name of the original family. I know we do have a plaque out front that gives honor to the original family that built the home. It's originally a brick structure on the front of the property that had been added on to numerous times. One of the early families living there was the Wigleb family, and they lived there generation after generation, operating the boarding house that was built on the back of the property. So they were the ones added, I believe it was 8 rooms that were there originally. Their family lived on the first floor in the main section of the house. And then they had the other boarding rooms where visitors would come through, stay for the night, maybe stay a little bit longer. They'd have a small kitchenette in their room and then one shared common bathroom. So it had been operated many years by that family, living, growing up. And then as the parents passed away, one of the children has lived for years. He's now, an elderly gentleman, had lived in the home until recently. He went into a nursing home and the family sold the house. But the history of it is as a downtown boarding house, and we really wanted to stay with that theme.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually got a chuckle out of it. You guys put some of that history on your website. I'll link to that so people can go and see it. But as we're staying there in this modern day Airbnb, you realize it was an Airbnb essentially
Right.
to begin with. So we think that we've invented this Airbnb concept in the last couple of years, but in reality, it's existed for a long time.
That's right. That's right.
So was that what attracted you to this property, or if not, what did? And did you have the end concept in mind when you bought it?
Yeah, so we very quickly had the end vision of what this was going to be when we started it. There were a lot of factors there. One was, we met the family that grew up in this house, and so we knew that there was a history with this house that was very rich and for many years. And when properties fall in disrepair to the state that this one had, a lot of times they just get demolished
Mhm.
out of the fear that there's not an economical way to revitalize them, to find a new use for the property. And it just typically doesn't fit the modern feel of downtowns as they grow. So we, as individuals that really love to preserve history of properties in the downtown, if something has even the slightest chance of being preserved, we'd like to see it saved. And so this property really was in disrepair in a lot of ways, but the history of it lent itself to being preserved and kept, not only for the family so that their family home was preserved, but as part of the community and as part of the downtown feel, to see it preserved and last for many years to come.
Yeah, yeah. Andrew, you people may not know, but you have seem to have an affinity for historical properties. Does meeting the family that lived in the house, does that add to that for you?
It does, and it's not typically what the process is. You typically don't get to meet the family. So a lot of times when buying old properties, it's a house that may have been sitting vacant for 25 years. And the family is long gone. It was either held on by one family member that lived out of state and just was trying to get rid of it, didn't know how to get rid of it because it was in such disrepair, or it's maybe something that got picked up at a tax sale or something that has changed hands multiple times and you
Yeah.
never even get to meet the family. So this made it a totally different scenario because we knew a family history is tied to this, and we're saving that for them as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, you talked about it being in extreme disrepair. Seeing it now and actually having stayed in it, you created 6 unique units out of this house, the boarding house. What was that process like? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so it was a pretty extensive remodel. So, anytime you're working with something that's that old, you're not making a perfect house. You're not taking it back to be something brand new. It'll always have the characteristics of the old with it, floors that still have a lean to it, things of that sort. But that is the character of the house. We took it all the way down to the dirt floors. The floor joists that were there were completely rotted out. The roof on the property originally had a partial flat roof that had caved in. Water was flowing through the building. So it took it all the way down to dirt floors, running new plumbing, electric, HVAC, all new insulation, drywall. All the floorings are new, all new windows, except for 5 of the originals that were on the front facade of the house. We were able to save those and put storm windows on it. But it's basically a new building inside of an old shell. And so when you walk into it, you get the feel of the old building, but entering each of the units, you quickly get the feel that this has been totally redone.
Yeah, it's a great vibe, and I love even what you did with the outside. You had the mural painted on the side of the wall, so it's very identifiable. And
Right.
you've taken, and I've driven past that building dozens of times over the years. So you've really taken what was an eyesore and made it this very recognizable landmark in downtown New Albany. So kudos to you on that.
Sure.
So today it is an Airbnb, 6 different units, uniquely decorated on the inside. What makes it unique to stay here? Why would people both locally and out of town want to come and stay at Stay on Bank?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the interesting thing about that is we do get local guests that are staying. We get people as close as 15, 20 minutes away that are coming to stay, as well as people from out of state. We've had folks from New York and people from out west that have already come to stay in the short time that we've already been open. So I think the real thing that is a draw for Stay on Bank is its physical location. So there are definitely amenities in the space. We have, top quality beds for a great night's sleep, and we have all those things. But at the end of the day, the amazing thing of that property is the location of it. So when someone is coming to stay, one, they're experiencing the exact same experience that someone did 100 years ago, coming and staying in the boarding house and being right in the hub of downtown. So today, someone comes, they check in, they put their belongings away, and they go walk out onto the street. You open up the gate, you're on the street. You can go to restaurants, you can go to shops, you can go to the Ohio River Greenway within just a matter of minutes, and you're on it, and you get the full experience of downtown. Drinks at night, walking back to your room, don't have to hop into a car. It's the full downtown experience that we're hoping that people love and enjoy.
Yeah. Hey, so for my 2 cents, having stayed there, and locals know this, but New Albany has experienced this revitalization over the last decade or so. And so you've got great restaurant scene, top-notch restaurants, live entertainment, lots of fun things to do. And so when we were looking for our anniversary, we said, hey, we want some place where we can go, park,
Yep.
and explore and take advantage of that. And downtown New Albany was a great option, but there's no real options for staying downtown. There are some hotels, but they're kind of off to the side. There's not a lot of Airbnb options. So you guys have plopped right in the middle, the heart of the revitalization. And we visited Brooklyn and the Butcher for dinner.
Very good.
Top-notch steakhouse.
Yeah.
We went to the I can't remember, Boomtown Creamery, high-end ice cream. We saw live music. We walked to the river. It was all there within a several block radius, and then come back to the room, and there we are. So you guys do have a great location, and again, kudos to you for the property. Should people want to learn more about Stay on Bank, or they want to come stay there, where can they find you?
So I'm just directing people to the Airbnb website. So if you click on the map and you zoom into the downtown area, there's a couple other properties that are there as well. You'll see us pop up. We actually have 6 unique individual listings that will show up because there are 6 individual rooms. Yeah. You can filter through each of those, find the one that fits your need, and click on it right there. So Airbnb is the best place to direct you. You can click on Stay on Bank. You can even Google Stay on Bank, and it'll take you directly there as well.
Yeah, Google search brings it up at the top of the list every time. And hey, I'll tell people, initially we thought, well, 6 units, are we going to have privacy? Or are we going to be bothered, Not at all. You know, you've got your own private entrance, well soundproofed. So we loved the stay, and that's why I wanted to bring you in, get a little bit about that history,
Yeah,
and then have you talk to us and share the unique story from the behind the scenes. So, Andrew, owner of Stay on Bank in downtown New Albany. Andrew, thanks for joining us today.
definitely appreciate it. Thank you.